Hello everyone, I'm Alicia Malone filling in for Tim Cash. This is the IMDb show and my guest today is Edward Norton.
Thank you.
Much deserved applause because you are the writer, director, producer and star of Motherless Brooklyn. So first off, what are the hours like on set?
I got tired while you were saying it back to me. I was like, why did I do that?
Like I said, a damn mess. Then I started working for Frank Minna, Private Eye.
Boys.
Frankly, Franco!
It sounds like a lot, and in times it is, but it goes in phases. The overlay that's tough is the acting and directing, right?
Yeah.
That's a little tricky, but you get confidence from people who have done it. When you actually read about the things that we look back on, films directed and written and acted in by people, you realize that the ways it was hard are very consistent, but they're doable.
What do you want to do?
I want to give it a try.
The other thing that's really important is just to cast actors who show up ready, who are tradecraft professionals.
Is that why you cast a lot of theater actors?
Yes. The film has, I hope, some compelling but very dialogue-heavy scenes. And I knew Willem Dafoe and Alec Baldwin and Cherry Jones and people like that know how to come ready to do a play and not sort of rely on cuts or breaks or pauses.
Do a monologue.
Yeah, that scene in the pool in the end where Alec gives an almost Shakespearean kind of a dark soliloquy. Alec did that in 2 or 3 runs through the whole thing, like driving it like a great Shakespearean actor.
Power is knowing that you can do whatever you want and not one person can stop you.
You're playing a character with Tourette syndrome, so you have a lot of physical manifestations. I imagine you need to do a lot of research.
It's complex in the sense that it expresses itself in each person very differently. I know someone who's a top litigator in New York, and I think a lot of people don't know he has Tourette syndrome because they think he's just stretching his neck a lot. That was one of the melange of things I pulled into it.
I got something wrong with me. That's the first thing to know.
I got threads in my head. I got threads in my head, man.
I twitch and shout a lot. Makes me look like a damn freak show.
Can't you ever cut that out?
I'm sorry. Touch it, Bailey.
You have to come up with something that is true to the condition, but also is sort of
Makes
cinematically
sense.
and emotionally, useful. For instance, there's an NBA player, he had an obsession with sounds, so he became a really great free throw shooter because he had a very difficult time stopping the practice of free throws until he hit 10 that swished the net with the right sound. And I love that idea, and we worked that into the scene where my character comes into a bar and he gets hit on by a blonde. But unlike most smooth noir detectives, he tries to light her cigarette and can't stop relighting it because he can't get the sound of the match right.
Jeez, figured I asked.
The book Motherless Brooklyn, by Jonathan Lethem, you decided to change the setting to the 1950s.
Only because the book has a slightly surreal device, which is just that the characters feel like detectives from a 50s noir, but they're in modern Brooklyn. And it kind of works in a book, but I was worried on film it might seem like you were being tongue-in-cheek, like it was like Reservoir Dogs or The Blues Brothers or something that's kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Well then, I guess you're really up creek.
And Jonathan Lethem also liked the idea of putting it in a time where people were not so PC and maybe a little harsher on him,
Yeah.
And where we could just lean into the spirit of the book, which is a detective noir.
There's something going down, and it's big, and they were not happy about what he found.